rulings, and theories, trying to understand, the functionality or how this universe and how this nature works. Okay. Yeah, he is real, Barcelona. Yeah, of course, God is real. Is that logical? Barcelona, my friend, it depends on the word logic that you are using. For example, my dear friend, for example, I don't know if you agree with gay marriage. Do you know that it's against you? I'm sure you are against it, that you cannot allow yourself, to have sexual intercourse with a man. But if we use your own definition of logic, we say that using condoms and, this sexual intercourse will be logical, will be safe. You see, my friend. So it depends on the word, on your own definition of the word logic, and how you're using it. Okay, Barhona. Okay. So, like I said, it depends on the way that you are using the word logic. Okay. Because I am sure that you are against gay marriage. Yeah. And so, for someone, someone may say that, using condoms and, this sexual intercourse will be safe. And so, logically speaking, it's allowed, nothing wrong with it. You see, my friend? So it depends on the way you're using the word logic.
Abderraoof, can you hear me? Mic check. Thank you. By logic, we are talking about the laws that operate. In other words, these are unchanging principles of thought. Unchanging principles of thought. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Okay. So you've got these rules of thought that don't change. Okay, so for example, you have something called, number one, the law of identity, which means that if you have something, and we'll call this thing X, okay, whatever that thing is, X equals what it is, X. Okay, so for example, you could say apple equals apple, egg equals egg, Muhammad equals Muhammad. So a thing is what it is. Understand what I'm saying? So far, that's the first law that I'm referring to, the law of eternity. God equals God, the Quran equals the Quran. Right? Do you understand? Do you want to comment? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Royal. So my quick comment on what you said is that, you are a man, yeah, and an atheist who believes in evolution. He believes that, the man evolved from apes, which means that we are animals. So logically speaking, so Royal or me, we are animals according to the logic of this atheist who believes in evolution. You see the point, my dear friend? So it depends on the way, in the context that you are using the word logic. Okay? Again, Royal, my dear friend, you are royal. Okay? You are royal. You are a human being. You are not an animal. But from atheism deduction, they say that we evolved from apes, therefore we are not animals. Okay? So this is my quick comment. Okay, go ahead.
Abderraoof, to discuss atheism is irrelevant. You are not atheist. I'm not an atheist. You're not an evolutionist. I'm not an evolutionist. Okay? By the way, even if an atheist, yes, I asked you about logic. Of course, I asked you about logic. So I'm going to ask you this question. is that mathematical equation, is that true? Is that correct? That 5 equals 5. Is that equation correct? Go ahead.
Thank you, my dear friend Royal. And earlier I gave the example that using the logical mathematics, we say true plus true is something that is true, which means 1 plus 1 gives 1. You see, my dear friend, again, it depends on the way that you are using the word logic. Okay, my dear friend? There is difference between the usage of the word logic in mathematics and in some other ways of deduction. Okay, my friend? So this is, again, another quick comment of what you just said. I pass you the mic.
Abderraoof, you are speaking according to Boolean logic, right? Yes? Yes? Okay. So according to Boolean logic, does 1 equal 1? Does 1 equal 1? Or does true equal true? Because one of the things that you're ignoring is that with the law of identity, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about Boolean logic, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about mathematics, it doesn't matter if you're talking about biology, physics, chemistry, whatever, the law of identity still applies. So I'm going to ask you again, does truth equal truth? Because so far you've said, I'll answer on mic, but you're never actually giving the answer. So please do tell me whether truth equals truth. Would you agree that that statement is true? Go ahead.
My dear friend, I think I gave you a very beautiful answer, and you agreed with me when you said that there are billions of logic. And like I said, my dear friend, it depends on the context that you are using the word logic, Royal. Okay, so which, uh, Boolean, I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood you. Yeah, but again, my friend, it depends on it depends on the context that you are using the word logic. Yeah. So I gave you some examples. For example, the truth, it does. Okay, I pass you the mic. Explain yourself or explain your question.
Okay, you just said the word explain. Does the word explain equal explain? Go ahead.
Does the word explain means explain? I think, when we check Oxford dictionaries, you will find different, definition of the word explain. You will find different synonyms. Okay, so it could be that explain, has another synonyms. You see my difference? So we have two different words, that refers to explain. Yeah. Okay, pass you the mic.
You didn't answer the question. I'm not sure if you are able to answer it. If you're just trying to dodge my questions, I'm going to ask you again. Does explain equal explain? In other words, whatever explain means on the left, it means the same thing again on the right, in the same sense. If we attribute the same meaning of explain on the left-hand side to the right-hand side, that they are the same. Would you agree with that? So explain, whatever that means, whatever meaning you want to put to explain, it has the same meaning as on the right-hand side. If we give it the same meaning, it is what it is. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? Go ahead.
my friend Royal, I think you don't understand what I'm trying to say, you know? My dear friend, I said, when we check, for example, Oxford dictionaries, you'll find different, definitions or the word explain. Okay, so it depends on the usage of the word explain, my dear friend. Yeah, explain equal, means explain. Maybe it's composed from the same letters, but it could be, it could have different meanings. But it depends on the sentence and on the context that we are using the word. Okay, so my dear friend, I'm answering you very in a very fair way. Yeah, I'm not speaking my own words. Just check the Oxford dictionaries. You'll find many different, definitions of the word explain. And also it has a lot of synonyms. So it depends on the usage of the word. It depends on the context. Okay, Royal, my friend. And again, even the word logic, it depends on the usage of this word. Okay, I pass you the mic, my friend. I hope you got my point. I am answering you, Royal. I am answering you in a very fair way. Yeah, I'm giving you the general answer that is beautiful because the word logic. Okay, pass you the mic. Go ahead.
No, you ignored what I said. I said Abderraoof. If we use the word explain and we give it the same meaning to the left-hand side as the right-hand side, would that statement be true? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand now? In that context, in that meaning, in other words, you assign the same meaning for explain on the left-hand side as you do on the right-hand side. Would they be the same? In other words, would something be what it is? Would something be what it is? Just type yes or no. No. Answer in text, yes or no. Would something be what it is? This is what the law of identity is. Just type yes or no. Because you keep talking about, wow, words can have different meanings. If you look in the Oxford Dictionary, there can be synonyms, and you have to look at the context. No, I'm saying, is a thing itself what it is itself? I know. So look, let's use your example. Hand of human equals hand of human. Is a hand of a human a hand of a human? Is it? Is it? No, because you keep ignoring. Just type yes or no. Is that statement true or not? No. I'm saying a thing is itself. In other words, whatever hand that is. Thank you, DK. Whatever a thing is, it is that thing. Understand now what I'm saying? I'm not making it ambiguous that might be pointing to something else. I'm saying whatever X is, whatever X happens to be, whether it's your hand or my hand or radical moderate's hand, it is that hand. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that, Abderraoof? Because you keep saying, I'll comment on Mike. No, this is to get ready for the debate. This is so clear. So Abderraoof, is something what it is. Abderraoof, let's put it this way. Is Allah, Allah. You believe that you say in your Shahada, right? La ilaha illallah, right? So there's no God but Allah. So there's only one Allah. So since there's only one Allah, is Allah Allah? Abderraoof? Waiting, 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 waiting. Dialogues, please lower your hand. We are preparing for a debate. No, Abderraoof, I'd like you to answer in text, please. Is a thing what is itself? Dialogues, please. You don't answer in text, but you never answer on the mic. You never give an actual answer. You never give an answer. You're going to give a yes or no answer. Okay, here's the question. Is Allah, right, and by Allah, I'm referring to Allah of the Quran, the Allah that you believe in, is that Allah, that same Allah? Do you see what I'm saying? Is Allah that same Allah as what is being referred to? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Royal. Welcome to Dialogue. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're fine. So, Royal, Allah, who is mentioned in the Quran, in all the Quranic verses, is the same one Allah. Okay, so the definition of Allah, is in the Quran. Okay, and Royal, my friend, you gave me the example of hand, and I said to you, the hand means, hand. But is the hand of human being like the hand of an animal? It's not the same, my friend. Okay, and like I said, it depends on the usage of the word logic. For example, my dear friend, for example, you know that we cannot see the atoms with our own eyes, and we are made of atoms. Does it mean that we cannot see ourselves? So you see, the way of deduction here using this logic is very wrong. Yeah, is very wrong. So, Royal, my dear friend, I want you to come straight forward to the point. Yeah, come to the point, please, my dear friend, because I'm not gonna give you yes or no answer. Come to the point. Let's discuss what you're trying to make. I know. Am I lying? I didn't lie, my dear friend. You asked me about the hand. I said to you that the hand of human beings is not the same as, the hand of an animal. Okay, my friend? Don't call me your dear friend when you lie. Come on, man. I'm just answering your question. Okay? So, okay, go ahead.
I asked you, are you going to answer yes or no? And you said, I will on mic. I don't do it in text. Okay? So don't lie to me and then call me, oh, my dear friend, my dear friend, my dear friend. It's ridiculous. Abderraoof, you know that you're being ridiculous. Okay? Yeah, what can you say? You didn't answer me. You didn't give me a yes or no. You didn't give me a yes or no answer to my question. So, Abderraoof, are you you? See, this is how ridiculous it is. Is Abderraoof See how ridiculous this is, DK? By the way, Chris, you haven't missed out on a thing. Are you ready for the debate? Let's just get it started. And you know what? I'm inclined to bring in the Al-Kitab and a few other things, actually. You're killing the room by such questions. Yes, by logic. The law of identity is killing the room. I'm losing my identity as a rational person. You have taken all rationality from every fiber of my being. It's not so. We can start the debate in just a moment. Let's just work out a format. So how about we have opening statements? Opening statements 5 minutes. Rebuttals 5 minutes. Crossfire 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. Yep. Then 5 minutes on the closing statements, and if you want, you can have some Q&A. See how long that goes. How's that? Royal. Oh, hang on. Are you referring to me? I don't know. The law of identity. I don't know which royal you're referring to. Which royal are you talking to? Which navy? But which navy? Royal Navy? But which Royal Navy? See, you have to look in the Oxford Dictionary, because there could be different Royal Navies, you see, with synonyms. Good question. What do you mean by question? What's good? What's indeed? What's right? What do you mean? Right hand? What do you mean right? What's right? What are you typing? I don't know anything what you're typing now. I can't identify any single thing that you're typing. You're not making any sense. Oh my goodness. Oh, it looks like Abderraoof might not have anything intelligent to say. Wow, cool. Okay, let's get Chris Claus on mic. He's going to introduce the speakers, and then we'll get this debate underway. Man, Abderraoof, good luck, my friend.
Alrighty. So do I have sound, everybody? Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to quickly do. How many other admins are in here? Just me. Follow. A lot of people as they come in. Oh, okay. All right, DK man. I've put the room to dot as they've come into the room. So people in the room now, while the debate is going on, I'm going to ask that no text come out so that you're not interfering with the speaker and what he's actually trying to accomplish. So anybody else coming into the room won't know this, but they will be dotted when they come in so that they will not be able to disrupt the speaker as well. So we'll get this started off. The debate this evening, or this morning, here in Ontario, Canada, is which is more rational, Islam or Christianity? And Royalson is going to be taking the Christianity is more rational by showing how irrational Islam would be. And Aber will be joining the Islam is more rational side other than Christianity. So first off, we're going to have an opening statement. And the way that I like to do it is we'll have Abderraoof come up with his opening statement, and then we'll have Royalson come up and give his rebuttal for that opening statement. After that time's allotted, Royalson will come up and give his opening, and Aber will come up and give his rebuttal for Royalson's opening. So, do both speakers understand how this is going to go? Abder's going to come up and give his opening. Royalson will come up and give his rebuttal for that opening. After that's done, Royalson will take the mic and give his opening, and then Abder will come up and give his rebuttal for that opening. After that, we will do 10-minute each crossfire, starting with Abderraoof. Close enough. Abderraoof. Excellent. There we go. I got it. So he'll come up and he'll start his section of the crossfire, where he will be questioning Royalson. We'll do that for 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes is over, we will have Royalson starting with his part of the crossfire, and he'll be questioning Abderraoof. After that, we can open up the room to some room questions. I will ask the same as last time, that when we do get to the question part of the debate, that we don't just all ask Abderraoof questions, as that's not quite fair. I feel we should evenly distribute the questions back and forth. So there's my little spiel. Now, Abderraoof, you will come up and you'll give your opening. You will have 5 minutes for that opening. So go ahead whenever you're ready. Oh, and before we start, sorry about this. Radical moderate, are you going to be the timer once again? Or who's going to be doing the timing? Yes, excellent. All right, so radical moderate will be the timer, so he'll put in text when you have how much time is left. So go ahead, Abderraoof, you're starting. Off the mic.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to take the mic. So good morning, guys, or good evening, wherever you are. And may the peace and the blessings of Allah be upon those who follow the guidance. Okay, so guys, just to let you know that generally I don't like the debates. I prefer having friendly discussion, because in a debate everyone each side will just try to refute the other side. Each side will put himself in a position just to defend himself. And so let me begin with this. Okay, so how does the law of identity proves whether Islam or Christianity is the right path? What's the relation between the law of identity and Christianity and Islam? Hold on a second. So this is my introduction. I begin with this question: how does law of identity prove whether Islam or Christianity is the right path? Okay, so that's my question. So we can have a debate from this. Okay, I pass the mic.
What's going on? Abderraoof, you have 5 minutes to give your opening statement to why you feel Islam is more rational than Christianity. I don't think that was very much time at all. Go ahead and retake the mic and finish your time, please.
My dear, I think it's another topic, because what I understood from what you said earlier, that the topic is, whether Islam or Christianity is right according to the law of identity. But no problem, my dear friend. This is another topic, which one is the right path, Islam or Christianity? For me, I'm a Muslim, and I believe that Islam is the right path. What is Islam? Islam is not a new religion created by Muhammad, peace be upon him. Islam, in essence, is the same message and guidance given to all the prophets. Nowhere in the Bible you will find the word Christianity. Yeah, Jesus never called himself Christian, and that he came to preach Christianity. Jesus himself in the Bible, in so many verses, he was talking about God. He prayed to God. He sent in John 5:30 that it's God who sent him. In Acts 2:22, it's very beautiful verse that confirms the Islamic view about Jesus, that he is a messenger of God. Yeah. So what was Jesus? Jesus was a messenger of God. Yeah. He came with the first of the commandments, like Moses. God is one. The same message Muhammad, peace be upon him, came with. There is none worthy except the Almighty One, God. So what was Jesus? Jesus was a Muslim, because a Muslim is someone who submits his will to the will of the Creator. Okay. So the point is that Islam is not a new religion, okay, created by Muhammad. Islam, in essence, is the same message and guidance given to all the prophets from the Lord. God the Almighty, He sent, from Adam till Muhammad, He sent to each tribe and nation a prophet and messenger among themselves, teaching them what is good, forbidding them what is evil. He sent the last and final prophet and messenger to all mankind, Muhammad, yeah, with the Quran. Yeah, with the Quran. He sent the prophets and messengers with wonders, miracles, and signs, and with the books, books, of life, guide, guidance, yes, for this life, you know. So this is my let's say my introduction. So this is what, yeah, again, Islam is not new religion. So Jesus is a messenger of God, Moses is a messenger of God, Abraham is a messenger of God, Muhammad is a messenger of God. Islam is not a new religion. And nowhere in the Bible Jesus said, I am God or worship me. Nowhere in the Bible Jesus said, I am Christian and I'm preaching Christianity. Jesus himself in the Bible was talking about his God. Now, you will tell me about the concept of the Trinity. Yeah, so how does the law of identity, explain, or prove this Trinity? Because it's a contradiction. Is Jesus God or Son of God? Yeah, and in the Trinity, in this concept, it says the Father is God, Jesus is God, the Holy Spirit is God. They are not three but one, and Jesus is the Son of God. So is Jesus God or Son of God? Yeah. Did God send Jesus, who is His Son, who is, God Himself? It's like God sent Himself to kill Himself, and then He raised Himself. I mean, the whole concept, it doesn't make any sense. The concept of God in Islam, we believe in one God, one creator. There is nothing like into Him. Okay? We cannot apply the laws of logic on Him. Yeah? Because He is the creator, not a creation. Creatures were created. Okay? God, He is the creator. There is nothing like into Him. He existed before space and time. He is not bound by space or time. He is above all the creatures. There is nothing like into Him. Yeah, which is more rational Islam? Yeah, very good topic, doctor. I like this topic because the one who was on the mic who introduced the debate to the people, he said that whether Christianity or Islam is right according to the law of identity. So maybe the topic just changed, but I like this topic. Which is more rational, Islam or Christianity? And again, Christianity. What about this word? We'll never find it in the Bible. We'll never find where Jesus said that he is Christian and he came to preach Christianity. Jesus was a Muslim. A Muslim is someone who is with his will to do will of the Creator. Okay, free mic.
Okay, does my time start now? Does my time start now? No one when my time starts. Okay, thank you. All right, so greetings to everyone in the room. I thank Abderraoof for the opportunity to have this debate. The topic is, which is more rational, Islam or Christianity? I'm going to go straight into the rebuttal section now, and I will give my opening statement in the next round. I'd just like to point out from the very beginning that my opponent in no way gave any sense in which Islam is rational. The topic is not about did Jesus say this or that. The topic is not did Jesus kill himself or didn't kill himself. In fact, my opponent gave so many non sequiturs and red herrings that have absolutely nothing to do with the debate topic. We have to see from the beginning, what is your foundation? What are the preconditions for intelligibility? Does Islam meet these criteria? But just to respond to some of the things that he said that Islam is the same message. It doesn't matter if a message is the same throughout, if that message is wrong. That's point number one. Point number two, my opponent said that all the prophets preached this message, but for example, he wouldn't be able to tell me whether the Old Testament prophet Zechariah was a true prophet of Allah or not. So if he doesn't even know who the prophets are, according to Surah An-Nisa, ayat number 136, then he has gone far astray. Then we have him saying that the word Christianity is not mentioned. How on earth does whether the word Christianity is mentioned or not in the Bible prove whether Christianity is rational or irrational, or that Islam is rational or irrational? That's a complete non sequitur. My opponent would have to provide a syllogism, which goes something like this. If the word Christianity is not mentioned in the Bible, then Christianity is irrational. If the word Islam appears in the Quran, then then Islam is rational. But he'd have to explain where he gets this ridiculous criteria from. He appeals to the book of Acts, which says that God sent Jesus Christ. But my opponent would then have to explain why it mentions in the same book of Acts that it was God's own blood that was shed in Acts chapter 20, verse 28. He said that Islam is not a new religion. Again, that's not pertaining to whether it is rational or not, because if it's a false religion and an old false religion, then it's still false. Doesn't matter whether it's new or not. Said Jesus didn't say, I am God or worship me, nor does it say in the Bible, nor did Jesus ever say, I am not God, worship me. But Jesus certainly made statements about himself that would be blasphemous for a mere creature to make. So if my opponent wants to state that it's okay, it's perfectly legitimate for Jesus to say these titles and put titles upon himself that belong only to God, and yet somehow has to say, I am God, worship me, in order to be God, then I think that's completely irrational. Furthermore, would my opponent be willing to accept the statement of any lunatic on the street who would say, I am God, worship me, without demonstrating or applying particular titles to himself that are applicable to God? What else do we have here? He said that he killed himself. I'd like my opponent to provide for me the verse which says that Jesus killed himself. Now he said that there's nothing like unto Allah. Okay, if there's nothing like unto Allah, then the attribute of existence does not apply to Allah. Since the attribute of existence applies to creation, then it doesn't apply to Allah. Therefore, Allah doesn't exist. Therefore, Islam is irrational.
Hey, we're drinking your Kevin Durant signature slushes. You give me one?
Which contradicts his earlier claim that Allah exists before space and time. That's actually comparing Allah to creation by using the word before, that Allah existed before space and creation. There are other things that existed before space and time too, like the Quran. Now, what is my opponent going to do? Is he going to say that the Quran is Allah himself? He's telling me that there's nothing like Allah, but here are two things that exist before space and time. Okay, so really, this has been the substance of my opponent's presentation. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you very much, both of you, Abderraoof and Royalson. So now we're going to have Royalson's opening statement, followed by Abderraoof's rebuttal to Royalson's opening statement. So go ahead, Royalson, put up your hand and take the mic whenever you're ready. Off the mic.
All right, thank you very much. And I'll just go straight to my opening statement. So the topic is, which is more rational, Islam or Christianity? As a Christian, I'm going to be defending the thesis that Christianity is more rational. I don't believe that it's merely more rational than Islam, but that only Christianity is the rational worldview from which we can derive any rationality at all. And Islam itself is not merely less rational than Christianity, but it is itself irrational. To start off with, I will give some points regarding the Christian point of view to give a positive case why Christianity is more rational, and then I will follow that up with why Islam is irrational. So first of all, Christianity, we have the triune God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. which is one being who is three persons. Here we see a being which is both one and many, both singular and plural at the same time, yet in different senses. This alone can account for intelligibility in his... Oh, you have to...
Can I be heard? Mic test. Yeah, this doesn't happen much, but oh great, he came back. That's great. Royalson, please continue with your time. Radical moderate, let him know how much time he has left. Go ahead, Royalson. Abderraoof, please listen to Royalson's remaining time and give Royalson extra allotted time so that he can repeat some of the points that were missed by Abderraoof. Okay, guys, so Royalson gets an extra little bit of time to repeat his points since Abderraoof was not in the room. Give him 2 minutes extra or something. And then again, Abderraoof will continue. He will get his section to rebut Royalson. Anyway, Chris Claus, you want to handle this from now on? I'm just stepping in here because the only reason I just stepped in here was because I thought Abderraoof was abandoning the debate. But now the debate is back on normal. Let's see, look, Royalson, let's proceed. Go ahead.
Alrighty, so what we're going to do, Radical Moderate has already said he's just going to start the time over again. We're going to give Royalson the starting of his 5 minutes. So Royalson, just when you come back up to the mic, just go as you're just starting your opening statement again. And Abderraoof, again, when he's done, you can just come up and do your rebuttal off the mic. If this happens again, we'll just pause the time from when he does see it. We'll give him an extra 45 seconds on to where the time pauses from off the mic.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm just going to go straight into it. As a Christian, I'm defending the thesis not merely that Christianity is more rational than Islam, but it is the only rational worldview from which we can derive any sense of meaning for the universe. Whereas Islam is not merely less rational than Christianity, it is by virtue of its very nature and dogma, it is irrational. So I'm going to begin by giving positive reasons why Christianity is the only rational position to take and why Islam, on the negative side, is irrational. So positively speaking, in Christianity, we believe in the triune God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who is a unity in diversity. The Father is not the Son is not the Spirit, and yet these three persons constitute the one God that we believe. And this God is able to account for or give rise to intelligibility where we have unity and diversity. If I was to say a sentence and all the words in that sentence meant one thing, then we would have no sense of meaning from the sentence. Likewise, if all the words in a sentence meant different things, and were not related to one another, again, the sentence would have no meaning. Yet, if we have in the sentence both unity and diversity, what we call something intelligible. And that is, by way of analogy, we can see that God himself, who is a unity and diversity, is himself rational, whereas the Islamic God, as a singular monad, is irrational. Then we come to the matter of the universal laws of logic, and these principles or laws that exist, in particular the law of non-contradiction, the law of identity, and the law of excluded middle, are derived from God's nature and his attributes, since we are told in the Bible, Romans chapter 1 verse 20, that the universe has been made in such a way that we can clearly perceive God's attributes. In Islam, on the other hand, Allah is completely unknowable, his attributes are unknowable, and therefore we cannot make any sense of him. The laws of logic would either apply to Allah or to creation, but not to both. That would mean either that truth can exist absolutely on the earth, or truth exists in Allah's nature. If truth exists in Allah's nature, then truth
How would you like to make some real money for a change?
Islam,
now, chances are,
would be false. That position is irrational. On the other hand, if truth exists on the earth but does not exist in Allah's nature, then we can say that Allah himself is false. Then we come to the matter of the omnipresence of the triune God of Christianity, who's present and transcendent at the same time in creation and beyond creation. As such, he is the one who uniquely upholds and bears the universe by the word of his power, Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2 and verse 3. Whereas in Islam, Allah is so completely transcendent and far removed from creation that he never enters into it. Although some may disagree by appealing to certain hadith, which seem to contradict this idea. Does Allah actually enter into creation or not? Well, if Allah does not enter into creation, then neither does his power enter into creation. And if his power doesn't enter into creation, then he cannot be the one that is upholding the universe. Similarly, because none of his attributes enter into creation, his speech would not enter into creation, by which we wouldn't have the revelation of the Quran.
Sorry, Royalson. Just had to red dot you. There was 1 minute left. So we'll give 45 seconds if he does come back in, Radical Moderate. So we'll give Royalson 1 minute and 45 seconds if Abderraoof does come back in. When I noticed he was gone, that's it. I always like to give you 45 seconds so you can go back a little bit, just so we know that he didn't miss anything. So far, Abderraoof still isn't around. What should we do? Give him like a 5 minute? Off the mic. So yeah, Abderraoof, go ahead and raise your hand. Get up behind Royalson. Royalson had 1 minute left. We're going to give him an extra 45 seconds. Royalson will have 1 minute and 45 seconds, and then you can come up and give your 5 minute rebuttal. Off the mic.
All right, to be honest, I don't even know where I should continue. But basically, I'll just say this, that because Allah is not omnipresent, not present in creation, then neither his power are present in creation, whereby he wouldn't be sustaining the universe, and his word, his speech would not be in creation, whereby the revelation would never reach Muhammad, because that is Allah's speech. The Quran is Allah's speech, and since Allah's attributes cannot enter into creation, then the speech of Allah, the Quran, would never have reached Muhammad, would never have reached Jibreel, which would have then been passed on to Muhammad. It would be an impossibility. So basically, just to sum up, there is no good reason to believe that Islam is rational, because it fails to provide the necessary preconditions for intelligibility, whereas on the other hand, Christianity does provide the necessary preconditions for intelligibility. And we find that the Quran, Allah being unknowable and incomparable to anything in creation, only sets up the Muslim in a system of ignorance, whereas in Christianity we have a God who has made and framed the universe according to his characteristics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Royal. Sorry, guys, I got disconnected, many times. I apologize for that, okay? So, I began my speech by saying that Islam is not a new religion created by Muhammad, peace be upon him. Yeah, I began my speech with this. Yeah, this point that Islam is not a new religion. Why I mentioned, why I said that the word Christianity is not mentioned in the Bible. Jesus, he never said, I am Christian or I'm preaching Christianity. Jesus himself, in so many verses in the Bible, he was talking about his God. Yeah, was he talking about himself? No, he was talking about his God. And I mentioned, John 5:30, very clear verse, in which it says, Jesus said it's God who sent him. Another verse, it says in Acts 2:22, that's the point, my dear friend. What do you know? Yeah, what was Jesus, my dear friend? What was Jesus? What was Jesus? Yeah, Jesus, he submitted his will to the will of the Creator. Yeah, he came with the first of the commandments like Moses. There is one God. There is one God. The same message Muhammad, peace be upon him, came with. There is none worthy of worship except the Almighty one God. That's why I began my speech with this point. Okay, because many people, a lot of people, they think that Islam is a new religion created by Muhammad. No, the message which was revealed to Prophet Muhammad is Islam in its comprehensive, complete, and final form. So that's the point. Okay, you can read John 5:30, you can read Acts 2:22. I like these two verses. I memorize these two verses because very clear verses. Now, my dear friend Royal, for me as Muslim, I don't need to disprove Christianity to prove Islam. No, 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 not at all. Islam doesn't need, the Bible or Christianity to be disproven to be proved. So I'm gonna say it in this way. I use very simple language so all the people can understand, can see the difference. Okay, so let's make a brief comparison between Islam and Christianity. Yeah, you know that the main pillar of a religion is the concept of God. Now let's compare the concept of God in Islam and the concept of God in Christianity, and let's see which makes sense and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. In Islam, we believe in one creator, yeah, who created space and time. He is not bound by space or time. He is above all the creatures. There is nothing like into him. There is nothing like into him. He is a creator, not a creature. Creatures were created. God, he is the creator. It's he who made the laws of nature. Yeah, it's he who made this universe, moving under, some complicated, equations that scientists are studying, are trying to understand. Okay, now what about now, what about the concept of God in Christianity? I think it's well known that Christians, they believe in this concept of the Trinity. They say that God, the Father is God, Jesus is God, the Holy Spirit is God. They are not three, but one God. So let's analyze this. Who is Jesus? Sometimes they say he is Son. Sometimes they say he is God. Sometimes that he is Son of God. Now, who is Jesus? Is he God or Son of God? In the Bible, he was speaking, about his God. Jesus, in many verses in the Bible, he was talking about his God. Now, I mean, where did this Christian dogma, come from, that Jesus is God and Son of God at the same time? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. If Jesus is God, let's accept it for the sake of argument. Jesus said it's God who sent him.
Abderraoof, Radical, I'm going to give him an extra 30 seconds because I doubted him. I was listening to you there, Abderraoof. I'm going to give you an extra 30 seconds, Abderraoof, so you will have 1 minute and 30 seconds when you are able to take the mic again. I just wanted to remind you that this is your rebuttal period, not a second opening statement. Okay? So I was waiting for you to start rebutting some of Royalson's opening statement. So you do have a minute and a half. Hopefully you can come back up and finish what you have left of your rebuttal, okay? Off the mic.
Thank you, my dear admin, but maybe you didn't get the point, earlier when I took the mic, I began, with the point that Islam is not new religion. And this time, my different one, I took the mic for the second time. I addressed this point, that Islam, does not need, the Christianity to be disproven to be proven. Yeah, which means that I don't need to disprove Christianity to prove I don't need to disprove Christianity to prove Islam. That's the point, my dear friend. I am addressing what Royal said. Okay, but anyway, so what was the last point I said? Yeah, and then I made a brief comparison between the concept of God in Islam and the concept of God in Christianity. I use very simple language because the main pillar of a religion is the concept of God. So now let's see what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. Maybe you didn't get the point, my dear admin, but no problem. Maybe I will explain myself in the next round. Okay, free mic.
Alrighty, Red, you can go ahead and reset your timer to 10 minutes. We're going to have a 10-minute crossfire. Abderraoof, you will be questioning Royalson. So from your side, whatever questions you'd like to throw at Royalson, you get to start off the questioning, and Royalson will answer. That will go on for about 10 minutes. After that's over, Royalson will get a chance to ask you questions, and then you do the answering. We'll do that for 10 minutes, and then we'll open up for questions. And of course, DK Man, you get the first question. Anyways, go ahead, Abderraoof. Your first question to Royalson. Off the mic.
Thank you, my dear admin. So, Royal, my dear friend, let me continue from my earlier speech. Is that, who is Jesus? Is he God or Son of God? And now, my dear friend, we cannot say it's a different topic. No, it's a whole religion. It's a whole concept of God, and everything is linked. Okay, when I mentioned. Okay, I will. So, Royal, Jesus, is Jesus God or Son of God? Yeah. In the Bible, in many verses, it says that Jesus was talking about his God. Now, is he God or Son of God? Which one? If we say, yeah, that, okay, I pass the mic. Go ahead.
Your mistake in your question is that you mistakenly think that it's an either-or situation. Jesus is both God by nature, he's God the Son, and he is the Son of God. Neither of those two things are contradictory. You'd have to explain how they contradict one another. If Jesus is God the Son and the Son of God, you'd have to explain how you're basically assuming Unitarianism to try and debunk Trinitarianism, but Trinity shows that both the Father and the Son, they are two persons distinct to allow this distinction, and yet both of them have the same divine nature, being God. Go ahead.
Thank you, Royal, but with all due respect, you know what you said? You said that he is God and Son of God at the same time. Now, Jesus, like he says, for example, in John 5:30, it says, Jesus said that God had sent me. Can you explain this? Did the God say that himself, he sent himself? My dear friend, it's English language, very clear, direct verse. What do you say about John 5:30, in which Jesus said that God sent him? So what do you say? Go ahead.
Well, since we believe that God is tri-personal, it begs the question, when you're speaking of God, which person of God are you speaking of? Did God send Jesus? Yes, God, the Father, the person of the Father. So the Father sent the Son. Again, you're assuming Unitarianism. This is the folly of your position.
My dear friend Royal, you said God sent the Son, but you said to me that Jesus is God. So did God send God? Free mic.
Yes, God, the Father, sent God, the Son. You're right.
My dear friend, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, if you believe that just for the sake of to believe that, it doesn't make sense. With all due respect, Royal, do you think it's rational? Is logical what you are saying? God sent Himself. Jesus talking about Himself. That, come on, man. Jesus said that God had sent Him. Yeah, and Jesus said in another verse that the Father is greater than I. Yeah, the Father is greater than I. So how could you say that Jesus is God? Yeah, this concept, my dear friend, it doesn't make sense. Jesus was talking about his God in many verses in the Bible. So, my dear friend, what you are saying, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, so because it's just the way it is, it doesn't make sense. Jesus talked about, was speaking about his God, and now you're telling me that Jesus is God. Where did you get this idea from? Free mic.
Okay, you've actually asked me at least two questions, so let me answer both of them. First of all, you said God can't send God. That's true if God is unipersonal, if God is Unitarian, but we don't believe that. We believe God is Trinitarian. So you have three persons within the Godhead, the one being that is God. So God the Father sends God the Son. And you're saying that this doesn't make sense, but the only reason why it doesn't make sense is because you're trying to associate this kind of idea with what you're familiar with in creation. So I would suggest to you, sir, that you are actually committing the sin of shirk by likening this whole idea of sending to creation. When God sends, it's not like a creature sending. Then you also pointed out, how can you believe Jesus is God when the Father said, or when Jesus said, the Father is greater than I? Well, you believe that Muhammad is the greatest of all prophets, but you don't believe that he's a different nature from the prophets. You believe he's every bit as human as the other prophets. In the same way, like a father is, in human relationships, a father is greater than his son. You wouldn't say that the Father is any more human than the Son. They both have the same nature. In like manner, God the Father has a different role than God the Son, yet they have the same divine nature. You're right.
Very good, Royal. You said something. I like it. I will accept it just for the sake of argument that they have the same divine nature. Very good, Royal. I really like this because I will accept it just for the sake of argument. Royal, if they have the same nature, the same divine nature, which means God can do anything he wants. Yeah, but again, on 5:30. Let me just in the text so we can read it. So will not maybe accuse me of misquoting the Bible. See? By myself, Jesus said, by myself I can do nothing. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just, for I seek not to please myself, but him who sent me. So, Royal, you said that, they have the same divine nature, which means Jesus can do anything just like the Father, but Jesus is denying, refuting you, Royal. Jesus said, by myself I can do nothing. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just, for I seek not to please myself, but him who sent me. So Royal, Jesus himself, he is refuting your claim that they have the same divine nature. And another question, my dear friend, just between brackets, where did you get the idea that Jesus is God? While he never said in the Bible that I am God? Just between brackets, but the question here, I accept what you said just for the sake of argument that Jesus and the Father, they have the same divine nature, which means God can do anything he wants. Yeah, but Jesus is refuting your claim. Let me finish. Radical. I'm just repeating myself, so I will be sure that he understand. He understand my question. Jesus said, "By myself, I can do nothing. As I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just, for I seek not." You got the question? Mike, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. It says that the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees his Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son also does. So thank you. Actually, the verse shows that the reason Jesus can't do anything by himself is because he's in perfect union with the Father. And the very next part says that he does whatever he sees the Father doing, and whatever the Father does, the Son also does. Can you say that about a mere creature? Could you say that about Muhammad? I know this is just rhetorical questions because it's not my time to ask you questions, but this is ridiculous for you to point to this particular part of the scripture. And not only that, but in the next verse it says the Father loves the Son and shows him all that he does, showing that Jesus is not only omnipotent to do everything that the Father does, but he's also omniscient to know everything that the Father does, because God is infinite. And for a creature to know everything that the Father does, or God does, would have to require omniscience. Then you said, what about Jesus saying, I am God? Did Jesus ever say, I'm God? Well, no, Jesus didn't say, God, worship me. This is a weak argument, but he certainly applied titles to himself that no mere creature can apply to himself, such as calling himself the truth in John chapter 14, verse 6, calling himself the first and the last. Revelation chapter 22, verse 13, the Alpha and the Omega, and the first and the last in Revelation chapter 1, verse 17 to 18. These are titles befitting of God alone. Now, if you're going to say that it's okay for a creature to apply the titles of God to themselves, then that is the sin of shirk, my friend. So you're going to have to deal with that yourself. Mike is free.
Okay, Royal. Again, try to understand this. You said to me that they have the same divine nature. Yeah. And Jesus said that I can do nothing. What does it mean, my dear friend? Jesus can do nothing. Yeah, can do nothing. If he is divine, my dear friend, he should just say that he can do whatever he wants, just like the Father, my dear friend. And then he said that the Father sent him, which means he is distinct from God the Father, my dear friend. Yeah, he said that I seek not to please myself, but him who sent him is God, which means he is distinct from God the Father, my dear friend. Yeah, you see. So again, Jesus said, I can do nothing by my own self. And then he said that the Father sent him, which means he is distinct from God the Father. Yeah, I hope you got the point. You understand my question, Royal. So, okay, I pass you the mic. And then, quick answer, when you said about Muhammad is the greatest of the prophets, my dear friend, as a Muslim, I say that I make no distinction between any of his messengers. God in the Quran says that do not make any distinction between the messengers. Okay, free mic. Okay, guys, I will pass the mic.
All right, thank you. A lot to get through. So I can do nothing again. I already explained that Jesus can't do anything by himself because he's in perfect union and harmony with the Father. So it's impossible for him to do anything apart from Allah. But I wonder if you can go to the bathroom apart from Allah. I'm sure you certainly can. Then you say that being sent means being distant. Why? Is that because when you have one creature sending another creature, that it makes them distant from the other one? Why are you likening God to his creation? Again, rhetorical question, not my time to ask questions, but you're committing the sin of shirk. Mike free.
Hey, Royal, you know something, my dear friend, you just repeated yourself by addressing just the first part that by myself I can do nothing. What about the second part that the Father sent him, which means Jesus is distinct from God, my friend. Yeah, which means Jesus is distinct from God, you know? So what do you say about this, Mike?
Yes, the Father and the Son are two distinct persons. That's correct. That's what the Trinity teaches, Mike Free.
Good. So how can you say that they are one? Yeah. How can you say that I have the same divine nature while Jesus is distinct from the Father?
You are distinct from me, yet we both have the same human nature, Mike Free.
But God is not human, my friend. God the Father is not human. He is not flesh. Yeah. And yeah, what do you say?
I'm just saying that your assertion that for something to be separate, or sorry, to be distinct from another, does not mean that they have a different nature. So it's just, yeah, I don't know where you get that from, Mike Free.
Please, Roy, I want you to okay, put your mic to the audience. My dear friend, try to understand what you are saying. Is it finished? Okay, Pastor.
There you go, Abderraoof. I just undotted you. So we will start with Royalson's 10 minutes of his rebuttal asking questions. Abderraoof will respond to the questions. So Royalson, go ahead, put up your hand and take the mic when you're ready. Off the mic.
Thank you. So my first question to Abderraoof is, do you believe that Allah is one?
Yes, my dear friend, I believe that Allah is one. And the best definition of Allah is in chapter 112. It says, say, He is Allah, who is one, the eternal refuge. He neither begets nor is born, nor is there to him any equivalent. So the best definition of God is the one which is mentioned in the Quran properly. Okay, Roya? Very much.
What does one mean?
One, he doesn't have partner, in his lordship. Okay, that's the meaning of one. There is nothing like into him.
If you're saying there's nothing like unto him, that means he's incomparable. How are you able to explain what the meaning of one is, your mic?
Yeah, very, very good question. Yeah, and he is the Almighty One, Creator. God, yeah, God means Creator. Yeah, Creator. Distinct from the creatures. Yeah, creatures were created. God, He is a Creator. Yeah, there is nothing like into Him. Okay, go ahead.
That doesn't answer my question. How are you able to explain what one means if there's no comparability between Allah and His attributes and those in creation? Go ahead, please answer the question.
Because, my dear friend, a lot of many false deities, and many false gods, and many people, they ascribe, partners to God the Creator.
No, I'm asking, how are you able to define one of Allah's undefinable attributes? Please answer the question.
Question, my dear friend, and for us Muslims, we talk about God the Almighty, about His attributes only as He Himself, tells us in the Quran. Okay, we do not give Him attributes from our own selves. Okay, we only talk about Him the way He told us about Himself in the Quran. Okay, that's why the definition of God, of the word Allah, is the one which is mentioned in the Quranic verses, royal. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Again, the attributes of Allah are mentioned in the Quran. For me, for example, I will not say God, Allah is the anger one. I cannot say one. Yeah, I cannot say that because it doesn't